अगली आयत, ऐदिना सिरातल मुस्तकीम, ऐदिना हिदायत कर, guide us. And we already have made this clear that it is the Imam-e-Zaman who guides us toward our spiritual world, toward our spiritual enlightenment, toward our spiritual happiness. Aidina, guide us. Aidina Sirat al-Mustaqim, on the Sirat al-Mustaqim. Some of you who are over the age of 40-50 may remember there was a typo or translation mistake in our old dua book. दुआ के अंदर कोई गलती नहीं थी, ट्रांसलेशन के अंदर गलती थी. वहां पर लिखा हुआ था कि हमको सिरातल मुस्तकीम की तरफ का रास्ता बता, यहाँ गाइड कर हमको, सिरातल मुस्तकीम की तरफ गाइड कर हमको. मीनिंग वी आर नॉट ऑन सिरातल मुस्तकीम. When the translation should be, and it is correct today in our new edition of the dua book, that guide us on, not guide us to. English के अंदर not guide us to but guide us on. सिरातुल मुस्तकीम की तरफ नहीं, सिरातुल मुस्तकीम पर. Because when we say guide us to the Siratul Mustaqim, meaning we are not on Siratul Mustaqim. When we guide us on Siratul Mustaqim, meaning we are already on Siratul Mustaqim, now please guide us on this path so we may move forward. चूंकि हम ऑलरेडी सिरातुल मुस्तकीम पर हैं, इमाम के दामन को पकड़े हुए हैं, तो या मौला तू हमें सिरातुल मुस्तकीम के ऊपर आगे बढ़ने के लिए हिदायत फरमा. यहां पर आगे बढ़ने की बात है. नंबर 2, जहां पर सिरातुल मुस्तकीम का वर्ड आता है, where we talk about सिरातुल मुस्तकीम, then we are talking about a path. और path के ऊपर बैठना नहीं होता है. When we are talking about Siratul Mustaqim, the path, you do not sit on path. For example, when you are on a road, you drive and you try to make it to your home or whatever your destination is. You do not get on the road to sit. You get on the road to move forward, to get to your destination. Those who are sitting on Sirat al-Mustaqim are saying, and I quote from the Farman, that तुम में से कुछ लोग हैं जो सिरात al-Mustaqim पर अपने मजहब के रास्ते में बैठे हुए हैं और कहते हैं हम कहीं नहीं जा रहे हैं. Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah, may our soul be sacrificed to that Imam, says, amongst you there are some who are sitting on this path and says we are not going anywhere. Imam criticized those who are sitting on this path and who are not moving on Sirat al-Mustaqim. And therefore, how can Imam guide you? How can Imam take you forward? Because you have decided for yourself to sit on Sirat al-Mustaqim. But when you say, Ya Mullah, please guide us on Sirat al-Mustaqim, what you are saying, I am ready, I am willing to move forward. आपने ये कहा कि या मौला मैं सिरातल मुस्तकीम पर आगे बढ़ने के लिए तैयार हूं. So what do? We move from the Shariat to Tariqat to Haqiqat. And then within the Haqiqat, we ask Imam to please guide us toward the Marifat, toward the recognition of the Imam, toward the recognition of the Noor, toward the recognition of Fana fi Imam. इसके लिए हम यहाँ पर हिदायत तलब कर रहे हैं. आपने ऑलरेडी यहाँ तक देखा कि दुआ की मायनों के अंदर कितनी राहत और कितनी शादमानी है. When we recite our dua today, will we recite our dua the way we recited yesterday, or we will have some kind of happiness in our heart, in our mind, where we will see and say that, oh my Lord, I know you, I have seen you, and you are my Rabb, you are my Rahman, you are my Rahim, you are my Malik of the day of Qiyamah, and we only pray to you, and we only help and seek help from you, and please guide us on this Sirat al-Mustaqim. That's what we will be saying when we saying our dua today. And you will see, inshallah, happiness in your heart, because today you know the meaning. You will know what you're saying. You will get involved in the conversation. आज आपको लगेगा कि आज आपने हकीकी मायनों में इमाम से बात करते हुए दुआ का आगाज किया. So let's come to the last couple of ayat. अब यहाँ पर प्लीज पे अटेंशन कि सिरातुल मुस्तकीम पर 3 किस्म के लोग होते हैं. In our dua, at the end of this Surah Al-Hamd, where we say, guide us on the Sirat al-Mustaqim, there are 3 kinds of people on Sirat al-Mustaqim, but they are all either moving forward, or either going backward, or either sitting there and doing something. And let's see what they are doing. Siratal lazina an'amta alayhim. Guide us on the path on which those people on whom you were mehriban and you have bestowed your inam. हमको उन लोगों के रास्ते पर चलाना कि जिस पर तेरी इनायत हुई, तेरा इनाम हुआ. Who are those people who are walking on the Sirat al-Mustaqim, on which Allah was happy and have rewarded them? We are talking about, please guide us, Mawla, beyond you yourself, because you are the one who's blessed, who is with the inam, with the reward, with the noor of Allah. Ya Mawla, we wanted to follow you on the Sirat al-Mustaqim, and we wanted to follow the Anbiya and Awliya, the prophets and the friends of Allah, the Hujjatan, Peer and Dais. We wanted to follow them on this Sirat al-Mustaqim, because those were the one on whom Allah was pleased, as rewarded. जिसको इनाम मिला उसके पीछे हमको चलाना. अब आगे आ रहा है, there are two different kind of people which we saying please do not make us follow them. और वो कौन है देखें, वो गैरिल मगजूबी अलैहिम, और जो गैर से, जो कभी भी आपके ऊपर ईमान नहीं लाए थे और जिस पर तुम्हारा गजब हुआ. नाउ हियर कि क्या वजह थी कि कुछ लोगों सिरातुल मुस्तकीम पर खड़े हुए हैं लेकिन वो कभी भी ईमान नहीं लाए थे, और इमाम और खुदा का एंगर, डिसलाइक, इंस्टेड ऑफ सेइंग एंगर लेट मी यूज वर्ड डिसलाइक, उनके ऊपर था. हु आर दिस पीपल? ये वो लोग होते हैं जो सामने से ओनली इन द वर्ड्स कलमा पढ़ते हैं, बैयत करते हैं, मगर कभी भी इमाम को फॉलो नहीं करते हैं, बल्कि वो मजहब के अंदर बैठकर मजहब के अंदर बुराइयां फैलाते हैं. These are the people by their tongue, by their word says the kalima and do the bayat, but they truly are not the follower. They never follow imam, never follows imam. And do what? वो उसके अंदर बैठकर they sit inside और वो मजहब के अंदर खराबियां पैदा करते हैं, जिसकी वजह से इमाम उसको डिसलाइक करता है. यहां पर जो वर्ड है कि उन पर गजब किया गया. एंड थर्ड वन, हु वर, जो गुमराह थे, जो एस्ट्रे हो गए, इधर उधर चले गए. एंड दोज हु वर मे बी इनिशियली had believed and then they left. We all remember the Jang-e-Safin, in which Mullah Ali was leading a war, but the Kafirin, जो दुश्मन थे, उन्होंने एक चाल चली. What did they do? उन्होंने अपना नेज़े को उठाया और उसके ऊपर कुरान को रख दिया. When the companion of the Ali saw that, they told Mullah, Ya Mullah, how can we fight against the book, the Quran? Mullah said, I am the speaking Quran. I am the Quran. I am Umul Kitab. Follow me. They said, no Mullah, we cannot fight against the book. These were the people who we call Kharji. They initially followed Imam, but then they left Imam in the middle of the battle. And we are not talking about 1400 years ago now. In the spiritual battle, in the spiritual ground, we are with the Imam today. But sometimes, unfortunately, people leave the Imam, people leave the Jamaat or the belief in the middle. हम उसकी बात कर रहे हैं कि जो गुमराह हो गए और जिस पर गजब किया गया. So let me stop here. I believe my assigned time is over and we will open the floor for questioning, and inshallah I do have one question from previous week, so let's see if we have any new question today. If not, I will go to the other question that we have received via email last week. जी.
Yeah, there is one question.
जी.
I recite English or Urdu translation of dua when I recite the dua. Is it okay to do that? I do it because I don't understand Arabic.
Yes, it is okay, but it would be more beneficial listening to these sessions. Not only you have your translation, but you can have the meaning, the deeper understanding of the dua. How nice would it be if you are, let's say, English speaking person who is asking question, or let's say you are Urdu speaking question, a person who is asking this question. अगर आप इंग्लिश बोलने वाले हैं, आप उर्दू बोलने वाले हैं, आप गुजराती बोलने वाले हैं, and then if you are using the translation, that is good, but it would be more beneficial. आपके लिए ज़्यादा फ़ायदा होगा अगर आप ट्रांसलेशन के साथ साथ उसके मानी को भी समझें. क्योंकि खाली ये बोलना कि तमाम तारीफ अल्लाह ताला के लिए है, ये काफ़ी नहीं है. वी नीड टू नो कि हम किसकी तारीफ कर रहे हैं. खाली ये कह देना मालिक यौमिद्दीन, तो क़यामत के दिन का मालिक है. But it would be more beneficial if we know who is the Lord of the time of Qiyamah. So meaning is important. Let's come back to the Farman of the Imam again. It is necessary, fundamental, for you to know the meaning. Does not talk about translation. Knowing the translation is good if you do not know the Arabic. So knowing the translation is good, but it is fundamental, important, necessary to know the meaning of the dua. Meaning of the dua. With this understanding today, when you recite your dua, regardless of the Arabic or your translation, make sure that the translation is correct, and then having known this meaning, inshallah, you will benefit much greater. You will have more happiness in your heart knowing the meaning of the dua. Thank you. It was a beautiful question. बहुत शुक्रिया. मुझे नहीं पता है कि उर्दू स्पीकिंग था या इंग्लिश स्पीकिंग पर्सन था. तो जो भी था, yes. If we don't have the second or other question, from the last week, someone asked the question that I said, and I quoted Mullah Ali Murtaza, and the reference was from the Kokab-e-Duri, where Mullah says, and this is Kokab-e-Duri chapter 3, where Mullah Ali says, I will never pray to Allah which I have not seen. And the question was, do we see Mullah? Do we see Allah? That was the question. So from the Quran, I pulled few of the references. आपके लिए कुछ references को नाचीज ने निकाला है. आप देख लें. वजहउल्लाह, the face of Allah. Who is the face of Allah today in this world? कौन है आज दुनिया में खुदा का चेहरा? Reference is 55:27. Second reference is Surah Baqarah 2:115. And the third reference is 18:22, where you will find the face of Allah. And we were talking about that Allah is Awwal and Akhir and Zahir. Zahir. That reference is 57:3. In our tariqah, in the batin of our tariqah, we believe Imam is with the Noor of Allah, and Imam is the face of Allah in front of us, and we are following the Hidayat or the saying of Ali Murtaza that I will never ever pray to someone, to Allah, which I have not seen. Alhamdulillah, because we understand the face of Allah on this earth, then we definitely have seen the face of Allah in this world. There are other cross references if anyone like to know, just example, and you can look it up yourself. Yadullah, the hand of Allah. Bay'ina, the eyes of Allah. The Hablullah, the robe of Allah. Al-Arsh, the throne of Allah. The names of Allah. Asma'ul Husna. And then coming of the Allah and the Didar of the Allah. There are so many references in the Quran which tells us that all of these things are possible in the world, and you will be able to see Allah. It reminds me of Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah, may our soul be sacrificed to their Imam. The very first farman at the age of 8 years or less, back in 1885, Mullah says, in the time of the Qiyamah, there will be mu'mineen who believe they will see the miracles. Then there will be mu'mineen who will see the miracle but will not believe. आज हम ये miracles को देख रहे हैं कि किस तरह से इमाम खुल्लम खुल्ला openly announcing to the world that I am the direct descendant of Prophet Muhammad and I am the Imam of the time. Openly. And amazingly, no one is challenging him today. Like they have challenged the Imam in the past, and they have tried to kill or destroy Imamat. But today, nobody is doing that. Because it is the time of the Qiyamah where Allah had promised that He will complete His Noor in this world. And that reference, you can look it up, is Surah Tawbah number 9, ayat number 32. G. Do we have any other question?
Yeah, sir, this is Ali Gadani. Can I ask on the open floor a question?
Could you go ahead and send that on the task? क्योंकि यहाँ पर बात करने लगेंगे सब के सब एक साथ तो थोड़ा मुश्किल होगा. Please send it through the text. Thank you. Thank you, Ali Bhai.
Same person has shared, he just wanted to share Maula Ali's saying, this entire world is not worth single tear. The saying of the Imam Ali just touched my heart, so he wanted to share this with us.
Subhanallah, Subhanallah, Subhanallah. We truly appreciate everyone who's sharing, and I can see a lot of references coming through the group texting, and they're sharing in the real time all the references and the comments. We thank you. Do we have any other question? If not, remember we're going to have 2 more sessions on this subject. You can still send us your question through texting or through email, and we will try our best to cover that in next 2 sessions, inshallah. Okay, यहाँ पर I see, I think this is a repeated question, but since I have received, I'll go ahead and repeat this. So the questioner is asking, so are you saying that in our dua or in Surah Al-Hamd, wherever Allah is mentioned, Allah is the Tawil of Imam? What a beautiful question. Yes, you have understood this correctly. आपने बिल्कुल सही सुना और सोचा कि अल्लाह की तावील इमाम है. जहां पर खुदावंद ताला फरमाते हैं कि मैं जाहिर हूं, वहां पर वो इमाम की बात करते हैं. जहां पर अल्लाह फरमाता है कि मैं बातिन हूं, वहां पर इमाम के अंदर छुपे हुए नूर की बात खुदावंद ताला कर रहा है. Wherever Allah is saying I am Zahir, He is talking about the manifestation of Allah in Imam, and wherever He is saying I am Batin, He is saying I am hidden. I am the hidden Noor in the Imam as Zaman. Thank you for this comment like question. Yes, your understanding is correct.
Question from Ali Bhai is, Day of Judgment, which Imam are we going to call upon time of Imam? We are born, or the time of Imam, our physical life ends. So I think he's meaning either Imam of the time when we were born or Imam of the time when our physical life ends. Which Imam are we calling upon on the Day of Judgment?
Subhanallah, Subhanallah. Qurban, what a beautiful question. Once again, this tells me the listeners are very attentive and they are really paying close attention. So this caller is talking about the surah or the ayah that I referred to, 1771, where it says, you will be called on the day of the judgment with your Imam. So question is beautiful question. Let's say, for example, someone was born in 1940s or 1950s, in the age of about 70, 80-year-old, who was born in the time of Sultan Muhammad Shah. And then he dies, in 2000, let's say, in the time of Mullah Baba, in Hafiz Joma. Which Imam call upon? Remember, when we say Imam is Zaman, or when we say Imam, period, when we are talking about Imam, we are talking about the Noor-e-Imam. Noor-e-Imam. Ali-e-Zaman. Now, this question, if you take all the way back to Ali and Murtaza's time, 1400 years back, and there were some Imam, I believe about 3 to 4 Imam, who had very short Imamat of 3 years or less. Meaning that it is possible that someone had seen 3 Imams or lived through in the time of 3 or 4 different Imams. But if we are talking about the Imam, we are talking about Ali of the time, the Noor-e-Ali, then we all will be called with Ali-e-Murtaza, Ali-e-Zaman, the Imam, regardless of his name. The name could be Kareem, Sultan, or any of the other name, but we will be called with the Imam, Ali-e-Murtaza, Ali-e-Zaman. Does this answer your question? I hope it does. G. Thank you again for asking. Nevin Saiba, do we have any more question? If not,
yeah, we just received one from Kyle. Is 1771, which says, you will be called to Allah with or through your Imam. Only about physical death, or does this verse also speak to the principle of Fana fi Allah and Miraj returning to Allah through the Imam.
Okay, I'm going to rephrase this question, Nirbin, and I believe that's what he's asking. Are we talking about the physical death or spiritual death? Meaning, mutu kabla anta mutu. जब कोई मोमिन दुनिया ही के अंदर विद इन द फिजिकल वर्ल्ड goes through spiritual death through इबादत, यानी कि वो दुनिया में रहते हुए फनाफी इमाम हो जाता है. So this statement, this ayat will be true for those arifin, those mu'mineen whom has died before they have physically dead or died. They will be called upon with the imam when they are becoming fanafi imam living in this physical life. Now let's talk about two different kind of death. Physical death, the death of a mu'min and a death of a other than mu'min. They also be called with the imam of the time. So if you did not become one with the imam in this world, then our prayers and Jamaat prayers and the family prayers are the Ya Mola, accept this Rouhani which has come into your huzur and give him or her your Nurani Didar and keep them with you. Keep them with you. So Imam will be with them. Now those who were not Mu'mineen, same prayer and hope goes for them. The Ya Mola, forgive them their sin, their shortcoming. Be with them, guide them, and eventually bring them into your nur. So your short answer to your question is yes, it is true for the physical death and it is true for the mu'mineen when they go through the maut before they die. Yes. Thank you. Very beautiful way of thinking. Anything else, Nevin Saba?
No, not here on the chat.
Thank you everyone again.
Hold on. I think there is one question.
Ji.
When we recite Salawat Tasbih for Rouhanis, is it helping all Rouhanis or just the family's Rouhani? This is not the related question, but it's still on the chat at this point.
जी. अच्छा, जब हम रूहानी के पीछे सलवात पढ़ते हैं तो उसका फायदा किसको पहुंचता है? So let's take the help from the Chandras फरमान. Mullah says कि जब आप फरमान पढ़ते हैं तो उसका सबसे ज़्यादा फ़ायदा आपको होता है जो फरमान जो सलवात पढ़ रहा है. क्या मौला फरमाते हैं? I hope that my mu'mineen will not die sinful. Will not die sinful. But when they die, recite the salawat. Recite the salawat. And then the magic word comes up. So you may benefit from it. You, as a reciter of the salawat. उसका 1% सलवात का सवाब रूहानी को जाता है, बाकी सारा फायदा आपको जाता है. Here I wanted to not make anybody feel like that they are doing something for no reason. So let me divide this. If you give me permission in 2 minutes, let me divide this into 3 kind of मोमिनीन्स. एक वो मोमिनीन है जो बहुत ही आला किस्म के मोमिनीन है. जब वो मर जाते हैं तो वो तो फौरन से instantly become one with imam, फनाफी imam. They do not need your salawat. But because we don't know who those mu'mineen are, what we are doing? we are reciting salawat for that mu'min also, who does not even need our salawat. Then the 100% of the benefit goes toward yourself and the Jamaat present reciting the salawat. Then there are second kind of mu'mineen, जो दरमियान में है, who did not become Fanafi Imam instantly, but they needed one single push. उनको एक और थोड़ा सा सवाब कमाने की ज़रूरत थी. So now when we are reciting salawat for that soul, we push them into that second level where they become one with the Imam instantly. It is due to your salawat. It is due to your prayers and your well wish. So keep reciting salawat. Keep reciting salawat for the Ruhani. You never know when that Ruhani needs that one single push. But remember, if they don't, the benefit is for you and the Jamaat present. So keep reciting salawat. And then there's the third kind of mu'mineen who are a little bit further away from Fanafi Imam. Every time you recite salawat and every time they receive their one single push, एक और सवाब उनकी तरफ जाता है. करते 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 एक दिन वो इमाम हो जाता है. And it is due to your salawat. So keep reciting the salawat. But on the other side, remember, there is also Imam's dua and wish for us to not die sinful. The more salawat we recite, more purified we become, and we would not have to ask someone else to recite salawat for us. We wanted to be within those number one mu'mineen who becomes one with the Imam before they die, or become with those second mu'mineen who only need one single push, inshallah. Thank you for asking.
There is one more related question which Ali Bhai has asked from his previous question. If Imam is judge on the day of judgment, then he is neutral. So my question is how he is going to be our witness and helper.
Acha. So you are talking about Imamul Nas and Imamul Muttaqeen. Remember the example that was given last week? Because we are Imam's spiritual children, वो हमारा वकील होगा. Because we are his followers, वो हमारा वकील होगा. For the mu'mineen, for the muttaqeen. और जिन्होंने इमाम को फॉलो नहीं किया होगा, इमाम उसके साथ तो होगा, लेकिन इमाम क्या गवाही देता होगा, आप सोचें. For those who did not follow Imam, or the worse, those who were against Imam, इमाम उसके साथ होगा तो इमाम क्या कहता होगा. Think about it. I do not want to talk anything ill about anyone, but think. For those who did not follow Imam and those who went against Imam, they will see on the day of Qiyamah, they will be called with the Imam. What Imam would be saying for them? Versus वो लोग, those who were with Imam, who followed Imam, who were Imam's spiritual children, what Imam would be saying about you, about Mu'mineen, about Muttaqeen? How will he will be your Wakil? That is my answer to this question. Ji.
There are no more questions on the chat anymore.
Shukran lillah, walhamdulillah. Thank you again for joining us on this Sunday. Inshallah, we'll see you next Sunday. तमाम साथियों को एक बार फिर या अली मदद. थैंक यू या अली मदद.
Yali Mother.
Yali mother, thank you.
या अली मदद. या अली मदद. या अली मदद.